Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Ministry to Youth Stories podcast. This episode is Accidentally Inappropriate, and our guest is Mark Oestreicher, otherwise known as Marko, who has been doing youth ministry for 45 years. That's 5 years less than I've been alive. And this story is a really hilarious one. It's one of the best that I've ever heard, honestly. And we also have a couple of stories on basically a topic that we did a couple of weeks ago, which is we lost a student but found them, and and those stories are great, really, really good, especially the last one. And of course, we have a bonus story as well. So in total, we have 4 stories in this episode. You're gonna love it. So here we go, episode 6. Let's do this. Cheers. Bam. Hello, and welcome to episode 6. We have the great Marko with us. So excited to have you on the podcast. This is a dream come true to have Marko on the podcast. So thanks again for being here. And as we jump into today's episode, before we get rolling with the story, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience in youth ministry.
I've been trying for years to get my family to refer to me as the great Marko, but it hasn't stuck. Well, my experience in youth ministry, I've been in youth ministry I did the math the other day. I have 44 years now, so a very, very long time.
That's almost as long as I've been alive. I am just turned 50, so I guess you were doing youth ministry for 5 years less than I've been alive. That's amazing.
Yep. I mean, I have like kids from my earliest ministries who are your age, because realize that, as I was a young youth worker, say around 20 years old, my junior hires were, just 6, 7 years younger than me. So, and I'm 62 now.
62.
So, yeah. So I have like former students who are well into their 50s, which is really a trip. Yeah.
I mean, how have you kept so much hair at 62? Because obviously I'm bald, and you're 12 years older than me. You have hair on the top. You got a lot of hair here, but I mean, any tips for bald youth leaders like me?
No tips. I lucked out with good genetics, apparently, for hair retention, at least. I don't know about other ways, but for that, yeah. So yeah, I was a youth pastor for a bunch of years, mostly working with junior hires, and then started in 1998. I started at Youth Specialties and was the president there for a bunch of years. And then when that organization got sold in 2009, I started the Youth Cartel, which is a coaching organization for youth workers. And Nick is just about done with a year-long cohort that I'm leading in that. That's how we really got to know each other. And for 27 years, I've been a volunteer in the junior high ministry at my church, and I'm currently a 6th grade boys small group leader. And they very much keep me grounded and humble. So yeah, that's
they do. And from what you've told me just in past conversations, for the last 27 years at that church in junior high, you basically you start with a group of 6th graders, then move up to 8th grade, and then go back to 6th grade, and you just keep doing it.
Yeah, that's been my practice. Like my last co-leader of the 8th grade group I had last year, he moved up with the guys and is now their 9th grade high school small group leader. But I circled back down again. I loved that last group, so it was tempting to move up with them into the high school ministry, but I'm just a junior high guy through and through, so couldn't shake
and
it.
It's really interesting because we were on the same, basically we're doing the same thing. So when I was with my 6th grade boys, you had your 6th grade boys, and then 7th, and then 8th, and then you went back to 6th, but now I'm with my 8th graders who are now 9th graders in high school.
Yeah.
And our church is a little bit bigger, so we have junior high and high school split up. So this is all new with this group in high school. And I have to say, it's pretty amazing to see how much they've changed just during the summertime. And
Sure.
They had a really mountaintop experience at camp, as that often happens. And just to hear them just a couple of nights ago on Wednesday night where they were just sharing their stories in group, just sort of like their faith journey, because we have some new people coming in and I have a new co-leader. And just to hear what God is doing in their life right now and knowing that I've been with them for as long as I have is pretty amazing, because we had to go through some pretty crazy junior high years to get to the point where they're at now.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say I was sixth graders are, I mean, middle schoolers are my jam, but sixth graders push that. Um, like I much more deeply enjoy seventh and eighth graders. And I've often found that when I am leading a sixth grade small group, it's like putting the time in, being consistent, not getting too frustrated, and holding on for when they are just a little older. So coming into starting a new sixth grade group that earlier this fall, there was some level of me that was kind of dreading it. I was fully committed, but I I was just nervous that it was gonna every week was gonna be a fight, you know.
Yes.
Um, and man, God's goodness to me, I have the most uncommon sixth grade guys group this year. It's just five guys. So it's a pretty small group. I have two co-leaders, so there's three of us. One of them is like 18. He's just out of high school, and then the other is about my age. Um, but they're the sweetest guys. It's just
That's
crazy.
awesome.
One of them's definitely kind of ADHD and runs around and is a little wild, but he's a good kid. Um, and then I've got like multiple kids who, shockingly, in my church, because so many of the kids in my church, like their parents came to faith as adults, and the kids got dragged along, and they have no knowledge of the Bible. I've got guys who like actually know the Bible, and are genuinely spiritually curious. I've got this one kid. He's just the tiniest little kid. His name's Keone. He's an awesome little guy. And like every week, he'll say, "Hi, Marko. I was praying for you this week. How are you doing?"
Oh, that's
So
great, especially coming from a
yeah,
sixth grader. That's so cool.
yeah, yeah. It's really good. Yeah.
Well, good deal. Well, here we are. So let's just dive into the story. Accidentally inappropriate. We want to hear it.
Yes, I'm sure there are so many times that I was accidentally inappropriate, uh, but one of them really stands out in my memory, and I can laugh about it now. It was not very funny at the moment. So I was working in a church as a middle school pastor in Pasadena, which is just northeast of LA, which it's about 2.5 hours from the Mexico border. I'm actually in San Diego now, I'm 20 minutes from Mexico, as you know, Nick, since we're both San
Yes.
Diegans.
And we're neighbors. Well, sort of neighbors. We're both in the San Diego
Neighbor.
County, but you're
Yes,
much further southeast and I'm north, but
yes.
we can hang out.
We're about a half hour apart. So if you call that neighbors, yes. Who is my neighbor?
Who
So
is?
we took a group of middle schoolers on a mission trip to Mexico, to Tijuana, Mexico, which is just on the other side of the border. And it was a remarkable week. I've taken middle schoolers on mission trips many times, including to Mexico many times. That one sticks out to me, not only for the accidentally inappropriate story, which I'll share in a second, but you just had an episode about the kid who changed everything. And
Yes.
I had a kid on that trip that is such a memorable story for me. So maybe I'll throw that in as an extra bonus story.
Bonus story. Hey, we're down for that.
Yes,
Definitely.
you need in the future, you need like a sound effect for bonus story, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
We might even be able to add that into this episode.
It's not
What
perfect.
would you recommend? Like a
So
gong or like I don't know.
I'm thinking more like a wah, wah,
Oh,
wah,
okay. Yeah,
kind
there
of
you go.
like
Okay.
bonus story. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, now that we've lost all the listeners. Um, so this kid, so we were partnering with a little tiny church that actually was in a community built in the middle of a trash dump. So really bleak place. And the pastor had asked us to have our kids ready to do door-to-door evangelism, which freaked our kids out.
Understandably
So
so.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we did
Yeah.
some coaching with them ahead of time, how to tell their faith story through a translator, and told them, you don't have to close the deal or anything. And all the kids were expected to tell their story with a translator one time on the trip. We also built a small house for a family, which we'll return to because that's where I was accidentally inappropriate. And we ran a VBS, right? So that was kind of our work for the week. So the first day we get there, this kid, his name was Garrett, and he was like a regular, he was at everything, one of those kids who attended everything, but had not shown any maturity, particularly spiritually or leadership wise or in any way like that. And on the first day, he said, hey, where are the translators? Because I want to do that witnessing thing so I can get it out of the way and enjoy the rest of the week, which
Wow.
I
I love that.
appreciated his honesty, right?
Right.
So I paired him up with a translator, and he went off to do his one thing, but he led an entire family to Christ and just never stopped. So he never worked on the building project. He never did the VBS.
Wow.
He was wearing the translators out the whole week. And seriously, through this 7th grade kid, like I want to say something like 40 people came to faith
Are you
that
kidding?
week.
That's
No
insane.
one else on our team, not me or any of the other leaders, none of the other kids saw anybody come to faith, but like the church, it was a little church, and it like doubled in size that week through what God was doing through Garrett. And it was just really obvious to all of us that this guy clearly had the spiritual gift of evangelism.
That's so wonderful. And you would have never probably seen that if you didn't A, go on the mission trip, or B, give him the opportunity.
Yeah, and it was just I was underestimating what God could do through a 7th grader is really the honest. That's how it was the kid who changed everything. I just saw so much more potential. Anyhow,
but then don't we all? I mean, the truth is that we just have a tendency to underestimate students and what God can do, in and through them. And it's just like, really, that's our job as youth leaders, is to create an opportunity and to create an environment for God to move in and through students.
Yeah. So let me tell you about a time that was not God working.
Okay, here we go. This is going to be good. I'm excited. Accidentally inappropriate. We all have these stories,
Yes,
but
we do.
I mean, from what you're telling me, this is a good one.
I think it's a good one, or a bad one, depending on how
Bad for you at the time, I assume.
It was. So I had a pair of jeans that were kind of like my mission trip jeans, right? And I don't know if you have that mission trip clothing. I still have in my closet shirts that I reserve for that purpose. So I had a pair of jeans that, they had paint on them, and I just didn't really, I might have worn them around the house when I had to do some housework, but they were mostly for that purpose. And they had a little tiny rip in the back, on the back seam, right on my butt. And it was just little, it was more like a frayed spot. And I was, I wondered, should I wear these? And I thought, I'm sure it'll be fine. You can already see what's coming, right?
Yeah. But you're wearing underwear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that morning when
You're
I
not going commando.
Not going commando. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good mission trip rule. That morning I remember specifically looking at it and thinking, should I wear these or not? And thinking, it's not a big deal. I've got boxer shorts on. It's not like anything. If anything goes wrong, it's not going to be a big deal. So I wore the pants, wore the jeans. I'm up on the roof of this little house that we had built for a family, and I'm teaching kids how to nail down roofing shingles. And so there's 3 kids there and me. And I bend over to show them how to place, where to nail, I think it was. And as I bend over, they're in front of me. And as I bend over, I feel the entire back of my jeans completely rip open, like a full seam tear.
Man. Did it happen slowly, or was it just like one big rip?
Yeah, all at once. Yeah.
All at once. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just you could call it a blowout.
What was your facial expression at that moment? I'm curious. Do you remember?
Yeah, because what I remember very clearly is that I instantly stood up with a look of shock on my face. And I hadn't done the math yet that the kids can't see it, right? Because they
Right.
were in
Okay.
front of me and it was behind me.
Right. Okay.
And I
Gotcha.
reached around instantly and put my hand on my butt. And then I mean, this is probably nominally inappropriate, but nothing bad yet. But in that moment, what I said without thinking was, oh my gosh, you guys, my butthole keeps getting bigger and bigger. And it was just
Oh,
really
goodness. The
not
things
the
we say.
it was not the right way to phrase. It was not even clear, like, right?
It
And
was very confusing, but then also I'm sure they were curious. What were their faces and what was their
oh,
reaction?
I don't think there was curiosity, it was terror. Like their little eyes, their little eyes just went huge in like total
Goodness.
shock as they're unfortunately imagining what I
What
had
that means.
actually said,
Yeah.
right? They had no idea I was talking about the seam of my jeans. Um, I'm sure that those kids had a lifetime of trauma and
Trauma. Yes, they probably
needed
had to
some
have
therapy.
therapy as a
Yeah,
result. So
that's
then,
right.
what did you do next and how did you get down from the roof?
I quickly clarified what I actually meant.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Yes, and again, there was nothing to be actually seen.
Right. Yes.
It was really not a big deal. I made it a
Right. You
big
made
deal.
it a big deal. You made an awkward situation much worse.
So much
Yes.
more
We've all
awkward.
been there. We've all
Yeah,
been there.
we've all been there. Yeah, I did
Ugh.
decide after the trip that I should contact their parents and tell them what happened because I thought there's a pretty good chance one or more of them are going to repeat this story
So
to
you might
their
as well get ahead of the
parents.
story.
I
Yeah.
might as well get ahead of the story.
Yeah.
And luckily, all three of the parents just thought it was pretty hilarious. So
Okay. That's good.
no long term harm other than the scarring on their psyches.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And you probably have built a pretty good relationship with those few
Sure.
students, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't something you said in front of like 100 students. So, minimal damage.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Hey, you know, Nick, if you will allow me, if we have time, you had a episode not too long ago about losing a kid and then
Yes.
finding them.
Yes, we did.
Um,
Yes, we
and
did.
of course, these are stories that youth workers share all the time because we've all done that at some point, right?
Unfortunately, we have.
And I have one that's pretty good. And then if we have time, I have a second one that a youth worker told me. So it's not my story, but it's the best or worst one I've ever heard.
I
So
would love to hear both stories, and I love the fact that you're teasing the second one as it's the best or the worst one, depending on your viewpoint.
yeah,
So yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it.
this is actually kind of double theme because it works with the lost the kid and found them, but it also, both of these are accidentally
Oh,
inappropriate.
okay, great. So we get 2 for 1. I love it.
2 for 1, yes. So these were both mission trips. So so I was a middle school pastor in a church in Omaha, Nebraska, and I took a group of about 10 kids on a mission trip to inner city Chicago. And while we were there, we were working with an organization some people will have heard of called JPUSA, Jesus People USA. It's where the band Resurrection Band came out of.
Okay.
And they do great work in a tough neighborhood. And so during the day and even in the evening, we were at their main facility and doing work there. They had offered us housing that was about a mile away in a condemned apartment building that they had just taken possession of. And I think,
Condemned apartment building.
yeah,
Oh my
and
goodness. Okay, give us an idea of what this building looked like and how bad
yeah,
was it? Obviously, it's bad if it's
it was
condemned.
about 5 stories high, and but it was it it was trashed on the inside. I mean, it was just a mess. Like I remember telling the kids when we went, we were going to be the only ones in the whole building, and they told us just stay anywhere. And I literally, after looking around, remember telling the kids, just find a room, ideally on this floor. We all stayed on the same floor, which was like the third floor. Find a room that doesn't have a backed up overflowing toilet in it because it was bad, right?
Okay,
Um,
so these are not a parent-approved facilities and an abandoned apartment building. So was there no concern about just random people from the street coming in and
no,
finding the
no,
place?
no.
And
It had really good locks on the
oh,
doors.
it did.
Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah.
so okay,
So the building itself, though, is not really the story. The story is that
okay, yeah.
I lost a kid, right? So one evening we finished up our work pretty late, like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and we loaded up our van and we stopped just a couple blocks down from where we'd been working at a McDonald's to get a little late night snack. Um, and when 11 o'clock rolled around, the manager of the restaurant came out and said, "Sorry, we're closing. You guys have to leave." And we were literally the only people in it, our little group. There was nobody else in the restaurant other than the few workers in the kitchen. So I did the stupid thing that I'm not the first and won't be the last youth worker to do, which is I didn't bother counting. I only had like 10 kids and they were
Yeah,
all there when
of
there was
course,
no one else there. So I
makes
was
total
like,
sense.
let's just load up. So we loaded up in the van and we took off and we drove down to our condemned building and we got all the kids up to the floor and we got the padlocks on the door all locked up for the night, and everybody would, I think we might have had a little debriefing time,
We had a
everybody was,
debriefing
I
time.
don't know, I don't remember exactly what
That
it
makes
goes
it worse.
time went by,
Right.
right, and none of us noticed that Laura was missing. And
Oh,
Laura was
goodness.
this tiny little seventh grade girl, blonde hair, little suburban kid, and we were in a very tough neighborhood
Yeah. Okay. So
in
you're in the
Chicago.
city, Chicago,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's late at night. So we're what, like 11 o'clock or
Yeah,
later
yeah,
at this
yeah.
point?
No, yeah, we left the McDonald's at 11.
And how
What I
far was the
did,
McDonald's from
a,
the
a
apartment?
mile.
A mile. Okay.
Yeah, which, is not far when you're in a van, but it's far when you're a stranded seventh grade
Yeah,
kid
of
out
course.
on the
Of
sidewalk.
course.
Laura
Yes.
had gone into the bathroom at the McDonald's and nobody had noticed that. And that's when we left. And so a few minutes later, I heard this story later. A few minutes later, she came out and we were already gone. And so she like sat down in the McDonald's trying to figure out what was going on. And again, the manager came and said, "I'm sorry, we're closed. You're going to have to leave." Kind of annoying that they didn't help her in any way. So
Right.
she
You would
went
think,
out.
hey, do you need a phone call? Okay.
Yeah,
So let me just back up. So obviously she didn't have a phone. So maybe this is either
this is
pre-cell phones or,
pre-cell,
yeah. Okay.
pre-cell phone.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, so she goes out to the parking lot and waits, thinking surely we'll come back for her. It's a reasonable assumption. And after waiting for, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, she decided to walk. And I'm amazed she even had any idea where to go. It's
I'm amazed as well. Like,
we'd only driven
yeah.
it in the van together. So she walked back. I'm just getting into my sleeping bag and telling the kids to turn their lights off. And one of the kids comes running to my room and says, "I heard pounding downstairs and I went down," and I was already annoyed. You should have just ignored it, is what I'm thinking, right?
Yes.
But Laura's outside and she needs to get in. And I was instantly angry because I'd been so clear over and over again about you never leave this building unless we all leave together. And I'm thinking, why did she go outside? Why did she
Right.
leave? And I was
Why did
so
she
angry.
leave?
And so I go downstairs and I'm thinking through, my phrasing of what am I going to say to this girl? I mean, I don't want to totally shame her, but I want her to know what a big deal this was that she broke that rule. And I was really frustrated. And I open up the door, and the minute I open the door, I see on her face that she's just, she looks terrified. I mean, she's not like terrified of what I'm going to say. She's genuinely scared. And I'm like, "Laura, what's going on?" I still had no idea that she hadn't been with us the whole time. And she tells me the story how you left me at the McDonald's and I walked back. So,
Ah,
oh gosh,
brutal.
it was brutal.
Brutal.
Again, had to get in front of that and talk to the parents, of
Oh,
course.
of course.
And actually, on that one, I actually called the parents from the trip again, pre-cell phone, but I found a phone and and called them. And
Like at
they
that
were,
moment, like in the middle
no,
of the
the
night?
next day.
The
The
next
next
day.
day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you let them get a good night's
And
rest.
they were wonderfully gracious about it, amazingly, because I mean, really, that could have been a really bad situation. So
On so
anyhow,
many levels. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, something could have happened to her on walking from the McDonald's to the apartment complex. The parents could have had a much worse reaction. I mean, a number of things for sure.
I mean, she could have gotten hopelessly lost,
Yeah,
and had no way to contact me or anyone.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we dodged a bullet on that one. But that tees up the other story, because in my coaching program, we always have a final retreat, and that often includes some sitting around a fire pit. And so I've had so many times when I've been with a group of youth workers sitting around a fire pit, and this theme comes up. Tell a story of a time that you lost a kid and found them. So the worst, this is the best or worst one I ever heard. And I can
Okay.
only say that it's verified because I know the person who
I'm ready.
I'm not gonna name.
I'm ready. And
So
in
this is
side note, the youth ministry cohort that I'm a part of, we're actually doing our retreat in like a week and a half. So I might hear some more stories there. I'm excited. We'll see.
right. Yes, we'll have to definitely find a place to introduce this topic. So this guy had taken a group of high school kids on a mission trip to Costa Rica, and they finished the trip, and they were at the airport, and they were all at the boarding gate together. And if you've ever taken a group of teenagers on an international trip, you know that there's so many hoops to jump through, right? Of making sure we're all getting through passport control and everybody's there. And and this youth worker had been very responsible at like making sure everyone was there all the way up to the gate, right? And then that's where he dropped the ball. And it's the same thing of my story with Laura. A kid went, like a ninth grade kid, went to go to the bathroom while they were waiting for the flight to board. And nobody realized he was gone. He didn't tell anyone. And while he was gone to the bathroom, the flight boarded. He must have been gone for a little while, because it takes a while for
Right?
flights to
It
board,
does.
right?
Usually like 30 minutes.
Yeah. So they all board the flight. And again, is one of these situations where the youth worker was like, we're all here. I don't need to count everybody, right? And they were
A common theme in
a
this. We're
common
not
theme.
counting.
And they were sitting, not all together in the plane. They were in groups of 2 or 3, kind of spread in different places. And so they boarded the plane and they took off, and this kid got left. And again, part of the horror of the story is no one noticed.
No one noticed. And we're
The
talking
youth,
about a decent amount of time on the flight. I mean,
oh yeah,
a couple of hours, I would imagine. Yeah.
oh more,
At
yeah,
least.
more than that. I'm
Yeah.
sure it was a
From,
5-hour flight.
it was from
Right.
Costa Rica, you said?
Yeah.
To wherever they were going. Yeah.
Yeah. So they get back to the States, and they land at their airport. It was a direct flight, and so they land at the airport that is their destination, and they have to go through passport control. And then, if you've ever flown internationally, you know, after you go through passport control, then you have to collect your bags, right? As like you're still behind security at that point, and so they're collecting their bags, and the kids are all there getting their suitcases. And the youth worker, can look across to the unsecured side of the airport, and parents are there to pick up their kids. And they're holding signs, welcome home, Jimmy, and stuff like that, right? And as he's standing there, he hears his name being paged on the intercom, asking him to pick up the white courtesy phone. And he's, again, instantly thinking, what did one of my kids do, right? And he goes over to the courtesy phone, and on the other end, they say, we have the Costa Rica airport, San Jose, Costa Rica airport on the line for you. And then those people come on and say, yeah, we have a kid here. His name's Bobby. He says that you left him. And the youth worker is instantly looking around thinking, is this like a prank, or what's happening?
Goodness.
There's no way, right, that a kid is still there. We've been together for the last, 5 or 6 hours traveling. How is that even possible? And then Bobby comes on the phone and says, I'm okay. I'm kind of scared though. And,
Different country still,
yes, yes.
without my group,
And
without you.
hours have been gone by, right? He's just been sitting in a security
Goodness.
office. And as the kid is talking to him on the white courtesy phone, this youth worker is looking across and he's locking eyes with the kid's parents, who are standing there, all hopefully expectant to retrieve their son. So, yeah, he went out to the parents again.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I can just imagine what the youth leader was going through, like sheer
Totally.
terror and fear and anxiety. Like, is the kid's okay? Like, how he's been there for hours, and then the parents, and a range of emotions.
He tells the story to the parents, and amazingly, thank God for gracious parents, right? They instantly laughed and said, "Yeah, that sounds like Bobby." So
That sounds like Bobby.
So the youth worker and
that.
the dad had to get on the next. There was a flight leaving pretty soon to go to Costa Rica, so they had to get on. They had to buy last-minute flights and fly back to go retrieve this kid. Yes.
Man, that sounds like that's great.
Right? You see why I say it's the best or the worst, depending on how you look
I mean,
at it?
best story, worst story as a youth leader to have to go through. And so they didn't get fired, obviously, the youth leader, and they were able to keep going. So that's good.
I'm sure that youth worker put some additional protocols into place for the future.
Oh, 100%. And again, I'm assuming this is before cell phones, right? Because that would actually work to your disadvantage, because can you imagine if it's during mobile phones and the student has access to their phone and then they start texting mom and dad and they know before, that would have made the situation worse.
It really would. Yeah.
Man. Wow. Well, yeah, I think we saved the best one for last. I mean, all three of those stories are really good. So
4. We told 4 because we
did. We told 4. Yeah, we did, because we did the first one.
Story.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're right. You're right. Well, this is good episode, Marko. Good episode. And I'm sure you have even more stories up your sleeve, being in youth ministry for as long as you have, and doing the cohorts as well, where you hear stories from other youth leaders.
Totally. Yep.
On that note, I would love to hear a little bit more about the cohort. If you could just tell everybody what it is and how they can access more information about it. I mean, that'd be really great.
Yeah. So the Youth Ministry Coaching Program, which is offered by the Youth Cartel, is a year-long leadership development program for youth workers. It's not skill training. It's not how to plan a game or run an event. It's more like how to thrive as a youth worker, how to assess areas of your ministry that need to change, what it looks like to lead change, and how to thrive as a minister. And we have 10 people in a cohort, and we meet periodically over the course of a year. And it's just really transformative. I've had 800 people go through it now, and in cohorts of 10. And I'm just consistently thankful and amazed to see the quantity of growth and transformation, both in the lives of the participants and in their ministries. So we're always filling cohorts. We've got about 8 of them that are trying to fill right now, everywhere from Raleigh, North Carolina to Springfield, Illinois, and Sioux City, Iowa, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I always get those confused. Atlanta, we've got one filling, so all over the place. So would love to interact with anybody who might be interested in that.
Yeah, that'd be great. And they can just go to your website. If you could just give us your website. We'll have it in the show notes as well, but for people who are just listening.
Yeah, it's just theyouthcartel.com, and then go to the coaching page.
Fantastic. And as a student of one of those cohorts, we're about to do our retreat in a week and a half, like I mentioned. It's been an amazing program. And for me personally, I've been to a lot of youth ministry conferences over the years. And conferences are great, but it's just so much information, in a short period of time. One of the benefits, one of the many benefits of the cohort is it's over the course of a year, and we meet, multiple times a year. And because of that, you're able to assimilate and actually put into action what you learn, as well as building relationships. I mean, that's a big
Right.
part of the cohort, is getting to know other youth leaders and being supported by them and getting feedback from them on your particular problems that you're experiencing in youth ministry. Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing program, and anyone looking to take their youth ministry to the next level or just become a better youth leader should definitely check it out. So,
Absolutely.
Marko, this has been a treat. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you, and I'll see you in a week and a half, and thanks for being here.
Have a good day, everybody.
All right, bye-bye. This episode is brought to you by Ministry to Youth. We save you time and money by creating youth ministry curriculum and resources to help you more effectively point students to Jesus. The thing that separates us from everybody else is our bundles and one-year curriculums. You can check us out online at ministry2youth.com. And a new thing that we have is children's ministry curriculum for 1st through 5th grade. So you can get all the information about that as well on our website. If you'd like to be a guest on an upcoming episode of the podcast and you have a story to share, send an email to content@ministry2youth.com. The big idea of this podcast is to hear youth ministry leaders like you sharing their stories. That's what it's all about. So we want to learn about your story. If we like it, we'll reach out to you and you could be a future guest on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed that episode with Marko. Hey, you got four stories all in one episode, and they were all really, really good. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on, whether it's Apple or Spotify or YouTube, and also give us a rating. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating, because that will help us to basically get more exposure to other people and people can find us. So that'd be really great. Great episode. Next week is going to be really good as well. So stay tuned, and thanks for listening.